Hello and welcome to Create the Flow. I'm Monica Freeman, host and founder of Monica Freeman Studios and Unewell. I am here to guide you in aligning with your soul's purpose, trusting your inner voice, and building a life that you truly love. You were born with a purpose, and your intuition already knows the way. Hello, and welcome back to the show, everybody. Today, I want to talk about how you can start changing your life. I like to call this life by design. This is something that I do with my coaching clients, but I want to simplify it for you and help you find easy, accessible ways to start transforming your life today in a way that feels so good to you. So the first thing I want to mention is a lot of people don't realize we have 8 core life areas. And I dive into each one of these with my clients because in order to be successful in one area of your life, you have to see the hierarchy of not only your priorities, but what's lacking in your life and what's thriving. So you can figure out where to kind of build this flow and this momentum. So the 8 areas are your health and well-being. That's number 1. Your career and work, that's number 2. Your finances and your wealth, that's number 3. Your relationships, that's number 4. Number 5 is personal growth. Number 6 is lifestyle and environment. Number 7, spirituality and purpose. And number 8, fun and fulfillment. It's really important to customize this and understand where your life has room for improvement because we want to enjoy our life. We have such a short time on this beautiful earth, and we need to embrace the time that we have. And a lot of people are sitting here stressing and stuck in one area of their life, and all of their attention is going to that one area. So the rest of their life is being neglected. So the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list of all of these 8 categories. And I want you to be really brutally honest and rate on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are deeply unsatisfied versus where you feel like you're thriving the most in your life. So for instance, let's say that maybe you are really, really happy in your relationship right now. So you might put a 9 or a 10 there, but you feel like you could do more for your health and well-being. Like maybe you don't feel like you're in the best shape of your life, or you're eating healthier, you're spending enough time taking care of yourself, that self-care. So maybe that's a 3 or a 4. And then maybe your finances need a little work as well. Maybe that's a 5 or a 6. And then fun and fulfillment, maybe that's also like an 8 or a 9. Well, if you don't feel good about yourself, so that number 1 category, health and well-being, and if your finances are a little bit off, the 3rd category, finances and wealth, then chances are those 2 things are going to bring you down. So if on a scale from 1 to 10, you are sitting at a 4 or a 5, naturally you're going to be draining energy from one of these other categories because you can't give them your all because you're leaking energy somewhere else. So in order for you to really get clear about what in your life is working and what's not, we have to create a hierarchy of where you are currently. And it sometimes is a little uncomfortable to see because who wants to see that they are deeply unsatisfied in one area of their life but thriving in another? But the great thing about this is once you do this, so you go through 8 categories and you rate them, then you can look at what is the most important to you. So what are the things that you actually want to prioritize? Versus what are the things that you are scoring the lowest? And it's important because you want to choose only 2 to 3 areas to focus on at a time. And I would say to give this at least 3 to 6 months, if not longer. We don't want to focus on all 8 areas of our life at a time, especially if something's already thriving. You don't need to give it as much attention. But in order for you to feel like you are living the truest, most authentic version of yourself, you have to get clear about where your energy is dispersed. So I want you to do that chart, figure that out, and then I want you to pick 2 to 3 areas that you'd like to improve. And depending upon your goals, you'll choose whichever works for you, but you might go toward the weaker, like the lesser numbers. So whatever you got the lower scores on, you might focus on that. You might focus on the areas that you think are the most meaningful in your life right now. This is really all about you and what you feel is the best for your personal growth. Because keep in mind, this is life by design for you. No two people share the same blueprint. I cannot stress that enough. We are not uniquely the same. We are uniquely individuals. And that is why we are unique. So as a human design mentor, I really go into people's personal charts to understand their energy type, because that helps me build out their entire life by design predicated on their unique blueprint, the life that their soul wants to live. But if you do not know your human design, and you do not know anything about human design for that matter, then this is a really healthy place to start, because this is how we deliberately build growth in your life and help build a roadmap that's personalized for you. So once you get that snapshot and you have like an overall visualization of what your life currently looks like right now, then you can assess this life that you want to build, this life by design. And you can be reflective, because we can look back and say, okay, well, this is what I'm doing currently, and this is what I want to achieve in, like I said, 3 to 6 months. And obviously, if you want to do this for longer than 3 to 6 months, that's totally fine. But the first thing I want you to do is define what that vision looks like. So now that you've chosen 2 to 3 categories to really focus on, I want you to really visualize what that looks like for you. So if it is health, I want you to think about in 3 to 6 months, the body that you're going to have, the energy that you're going to radiate, how you're going to feel, the way you're going to show up for yourself. And I want you to think about the foods that you're going to eat, whatever specifically is lacking in that category for you. I want you to get clarity on where you want to go. And I would write this down just so you can look at it on a day-to-day and hold yourself accountable. And once you do that in all 2 to 3 areas, however many you chose, then you have to set a very realistic goal for yourself, something that is tangible that you can actually measure. We are more likely to succeed if, one, we form a habit, which takes 21 days, but then we set a specific measurable goal, because that gives you something to work toward. Be realistic, because if your goal is to get healthy and change the shape of your body, so maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to gain weight, maybe you want muscle mass, whatever you're trying to do, you need a goal that is tangible for that specific achievement. So for instance, don't say, I want to exercise 7 times a week if you know that that's just not feasible for you. Maybe decide that you want to do 3 times a week. And once you get comfortable doing that and you form a habit with that, then you can maybe increase that to 4 days a week if that feels good to you. And if you're trying to, let's say your category is finances, or you want to save money, or you want to make more money, whatever it is. Let's say that you want to save $250 a month. Well, then create a plan to do that. However, you're going to come up with that money and how much you're going to save each week to get to that. So that's really going to help you hold yourself accountable. And I do this with my coaching clients. I really hold them accountable, because we need to track your progress so you can see it daily and you can really show up and support yourself, because you want to be the energy that you want to radiate. I want you to think about this in terms of short term. So obviously you can do this week to week. You could do this month to month for your midterm, and then your long term, like I said, 3 to 6 months. But also write out, if need be, to hold yourself accountable, action steps that you can take. So obviously today, if we're going to start this today, the first action step might be to work out today for 20 minutes. And then maybe your midterm, so like for the next 30 days, you form a habit of doing this. So you commit to, like I said, 20 minutes for 3 times a week. And then long term, maybe you decide that I want to do this 4 to 5 times a week for 35 minutes. The more sustainable you build this out for yourself, the easier it's going to be to hold yourself accountable, because when we can tangibly feel something, we can touch it, we just see it, and we have that vision there and it feels real to us, we can actually reach these milestones. And that's where we come into the next action, which is to take aligned actions. It is really easy to tell yourself every single day, I don't want to do this thing. But keep in mind, we're building a life by design for you, something that feels good to you, something that's helping you become your highest self. And in order to do that, you have to build habits. So systems that reflect the person that you want to become, this highest version of yourself, which means you have to build consistency. Every single time you want to take a pause and say, not today. I want you to think about who you are in 3 months, in 6 months, that version of you. I want you to show up for her or him. I want you to show up for that person every day. Because the more aligned actions you take, the sooner you become that person, the happier you feel. And when you get to that place, I want you to reflect on that. I want you to look back over the last 3 to 6 months, and I want you to rate yourself again. And every single thing that felt good, everything, small wins, big wins. So I'm talking micro and macro here, everything. I want you to celebrate that progress. If today you decided to show up for 10 minutes instead of 20 minutes, celebrate that. You still showed up. Whatever you did that kept you taking those aligned actions to that goal, that 3 to 6 months, 9-month, whatever time frame you choose, I want you to celebrate and be proud of yourself. And revel in the fact that every day you showed up for yourself to create a life by design for your blueprint, your soul. And if there is any place that didn't feel good to you, maybe you were too rigid, maybe you didn't like something you wanted to commit to, maybe you need to shift something, I want you to adjust as needed. And then at the end of that time frame, I want you to do the same thing over again. I want you to reevaluate those 8 categories, rate them, figure out where your focus lies, and see if you are starting to build a life that you are proud of, a life that feels good to you. Because when you take actions every day, it becomes a ripple effect, and your whole life benefits from it. And the more you put time into these pillars, the more you start to see change. Change does not happen overnight, but every single day, one small step toward your goals feels huge in the long run. A lot of people think that 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even 2-3 years is a long time to wait for a result. But is it really in the grand scheme of things? If we get to live to be 80, 90, 100, or even longer these days, is that really a lot of time to invest into your overall well-being? I don't think so. So I want you to really focus on these 8 areas of your life. And I want you to build the meaningful life that you're proud of, a life by design that is yours, uniquely, individually yours. Because you came here alone, and this is your mission, your purpose on this beautiful earth, and nobody can take that away from you because we each get that opportunity. So be grateful for that and choose a life that feels good to you. I love you so, so much. If you want any help building your authentic, beautiful blueprint for your purposeful life, I'd love, love, love for you to join my coaching program. It's truly transformative. It's 12 weeks long. And in this coaching program, we go through the hierarchy of your entire life. We do the wheel of life. We assess what's working, what's not. We make sure that within 12 weeks, you have transformed your life. We do a human design reading, which is absolutely beautiful because then you get an actual blueprint of what your energy type is like and who you are, uniquely you. And then we build out that entire life to help you have the most perfect life ever. Yes, I said the most perfect life because we start teaching you how to live in harmony, in peace, and attract things to you and live aligned. So thank you so much again for tuning into this episode. I cannot wait for you to build the life of your dreams. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like more information, you can follow along on Instagram at Create the Flow Podcast or find me personally at Monica Freeman. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a review and share it with a friend.